Political turmoil that fulfills Bible prophecy. The picture shows government buildings with the national flags of the United States and Britain waving behind them. A large group of protesters stand in front of the buildings while the ground cracks beneath them. People today are deeply divided over politics. They disagree over the laws that touch their everyday lives, and they aggressively express their differing political opinions. In government, lawmakers and other officials often hold opposing positions and are unwilling to yield. Such differences lead to political turmoil that can cripple a government's ability to work. Especially significant, though, is the political turmoil in the United States and Britain, as the United Kingdom is often informally known. Why? Because the Bible foretold that this turmoil would exist within these two nations at the very time when a heavenly government set up by God would intervene in man's affairs. Political turmoil in the final part of the days. The Bible contains an astonishing prophecy recorded in the book of Daniel. In that prophecy, God revealed what is to happen in the final part of the days, which at the time was referring to a future decisive point in human history. Daniel 2:28. This Bible prophecy was presented in a dream that God gave to the king of Babylon. In that dream, the king saw an enormous image forged out of different metals. Later, the prophet Daniel explained that from the head down to the feet, the image represented world powers that would rise and fall throughout history. Eventually, the image would be completely destroyed after being hit by a rock that represented a kingdom or a government set up by God. The following is supplementary information. Which world powers did Daniel's prophecy describe? 5 world powers that had an impact on God's people are depicted in the image of Daniel chapter 2. They are the Babylonian Empire, represented by the head of gold; the Medo-Persian Empire, depicted by the chest and arms of silver; the Grecian Empire, represented by the abdomen and thighs of copper; the Roman Empire, pictured by the legs of iron; the United States-Britain alliance, represented by the feet of iron mixed with clay. The picture shows the immense image as depicted in Daniel's prophecy. Returning to the article. According to the prophecy, God's kingdom would replace all human governments. This kingdom is the same one that Jesus taught his followers to pray for when he said, "Let your kingdom come." Matthew 6:10. But where in the prophecy does the Bible predict political turmoil? Note that the feet of the image were made partly of iron and partly of clay. Daniel 2:33. That mixture was different from the solid metals that made up the rest of the image, indicating that there would be one world power that would be different from the others. How? Daniel's prophecy explains. And just as you saw the feet and the toes to be partly of clay of a potter and partly of iron, the kingdom will be divided. But some of the hardness of iron will be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with soft clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom will be partly strong and partly fragile. Just as you saw iron mixed with soft clay, they will be mixed with the people, but they will not stick together, one to the other, just as iron does not mix with clay. Daniel 2:41-43. According to the prophecy, the world power represented by the feet of the image would experience political turmoil. Its strength would be compromised, that is, weakened from within by its own people. Daniel's prophecy fulfilled today. The feet of the image represent the dominant world power today, the alliance between the United States and Britain. How do modern developments point to that conclusion? The feet of the image are made partly of iron and partly of clay, a combination that is inherently weak. Daniel 2:42. Today, the power of both the United States and Britain is weakened by elements within their own societies. For example, both countries experience internal conflicts among their own citizens. People violently protest for their rights. Their elected representatives often fail to reach a majority agreement. Because their people are so divided, both governments are at times unable to implement their policies effectively. The following is supplementary information. The United States and Britain, a strong alliance. In the years since fighting as allies in World War I, the United States and Britain have developed a strong alliance. They reinforce that relationship by cooperating on political, security, and economic issues. The United States has no closer ally than the United Kingdom, U.S. Department of State. The special relationship is so important. It's stronger now than ever. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. We are together, the United Kingdom, the United States, on every critical issue of our times. U.S. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken. Returning to the article. The picture shows protesters standing around the feet of the immense image of Daniel's prophecy. The ground cracks beneath them. The picture caption reads, "The state of governments was foretold in Daniel chapter 2. Consider further the meaning of some details of Daniel's prophecy and how they are being fulfilled today. Prophecy. The kingdom will be divided, but some of the hardness of iron will be in it. Daniel 2:41. Meaning, although they contend with internal political divisions, the United States and Britain maintain powerful military forces. Because of that, they can act with authority, with a strength like iron. Fulfillment. In 2023, the United States and the United Kingdom jointly spent more on military expenditures than the next 12 biggest spenders combined. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. The UK-US defense cooperation has evolved to become the most robust, deepest, and advanced partnership of any two countries. We work together, we stand together, we fight together. Strategic Command, UK Ministry of Defense, April 2024. Prophecy. As the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom will be partly strong and partly fragile. Daniel 2:42. Meaning, despite their military strength, the United States and Britain are restricted by the way their democratic political setup has been shaped. Without the approval of a clear majority, these governments sometimes struggle to fulfill their plans. Fulfillment. Divisions within American politics are also constraining the United States' ability to deliver on the global stage, from security to trade, according to some political analysts. The Wall Street Journal. Unprecedented political turmoil has distracted politicians, limiting the ability of the civil service to progress the British government's reform agenda. Institute for Government. The footnote reads, "The civil service is the whole body of public servants employed by a government." Merriam-Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. End of footnote. Prophecy. They, the kingdom, will be mixed with the common people, but they will not stick together. Daniel 2:43 end footnote. Meaning, ordinary people may have a say in their governments, but the result has not fully satisfied officials or voters. Fulfillment. Today, Americans' views of politics and elected officials are unrelentingly negative. Pew Research Center. People's trust in governments and politicians and confidence in their systems of government is as low now as it has ever been over the last 50 years, if not lower. National Center for Social Research. Daniel's Prophecy. The Future. According to Daniel's prophecy, the United States-Britain alliance will be the dominant world power when God's kingdom replaces all human governments. In a parallel prophecy in the book of Revelation, the Bible shows that the kings of the entire inhabited earth will be gathered against Jehovah God for the war of Armageddon, the war of the great day of God the Almighty. Revelation 16:14 and 16. The footnote reads, Jehovah is the personal name of God. See the article, Who is Jehovah? End of footnote. In this war, Jehovah will destroy all human governments and, in doing so, will also erase all trace of the world powers represented by the image in Daniel's prophecy. To learn more, see the article, What is the Battle of Armageddon? Benefit from Daniel's prophecy about political turmoil. The Bible accurately foretold today's political turmoil in the United States and Britain, and learning about it will give you a different perspective of current events. You will come to understand why Jesus wanted his followers to be neutral when it comes to this world's politics. And you will further understand why Jesus, as God's choice of ruler for his kingdom, stated, My kingdom is no part of this world. John 18:36. You will be encouraged by the hope that the time for God's kingdom to take action is near, along with all the blessings that rulership by God promises to mankind. You will be confident about the future, relieved of the anxiety that international rivalries will ruin our world. Daniel's prophecy shows that the United States-Britain alliance, represented by the feet of the image, will be the last human world power to dominate mankind. What comes next will be a perfect government that rules from heaven, God's kingdom. To find out more about what God's kingdom will mean for mankind, watch the video, What is God's Kingdom?